Hi everybody, in this video we are going to discuss about the symptoms of malaria and control of malaria. Symptoms of malaria and control of malaria. In the previous video we studied the life cycle of malarial parasite, that is Plasmodium vivax. Now we are going to discuss about the symptoms of malaria and control of malaria. Now if you are seeing the symptoms right after the infected mosquito bites, right after the infected mosquito bites, which means what is that mosquito? It is the female Anopheles mosquito. When a infected female Anopheles mosquito bites a healthy person, okay, bites a healthy person, he suffers with the malaria. He suffers with the disease called as malaria. But after how many days after the bite of female Anopheles mosquito? It takes about 14 days, okay. After 14 days of the bite of a female Anopheles mosquito, that particular person shows the symptoms of malaria. Now we will discuss about the symptoms of malaria. Now that particular person after 14 days by the bite of the female Anopheles mosquito, he will be showing the symptoms. He will be showing, or he or she, that particular patient, that particular individual will show bouts of fever in 3 stages. Bouts of fever in 3 stages. So here you don't need to get confused with the word bouts. Bouts means often. Okay, often the person will be suffering with fever. Okay, often the person will be suffering with fever. Now here if you are seeing the fever, okay, the fever may be under 3 stages, or it may appear as 3 stages: cold stage, hot stage, and sweating stage. Okay, cold stage, hot stage, and sweating stage. Cold stage. So during the cold stage, what happens? That particular person will be showing chills and shivering with headache and giddiness. Okay. So here, if you are looking at the cold stage, we are saying that chills and shivering, which means the person's body, that particular person's body will be very cold and he starts shivering. But please remember, by the end of the 14 days, as this particular malarial parasite enters inside into the body, that particular patient or that person, initially they will be showing some restlessness, they will be sleepless and less appetite will be there. These are the first symptoms that will be shown by a person suffering with malaria. They will be suffering with they feel restlessness, less appetite, headache will be there, and less sleepiness. Okay, they will not feel sleepy. And now then after the 14 days, what we are seeing is bouts of fever in 3 stages we are seeing. Bouts we said often. So here fever will be under 3 stages like cold, hot, and sweating stage. Cold stage, chills, shivering, headache, and giddiness. So here chills means they start feeling so cold and they start shivering. That's the first stage that we will be seeing with headache and giddiness. Okay, they feel very weak and giddy when they are in the cold stage. And the next one is hot stage. Hot stage means the person suddenly they will be showing high temperature. The person's body temperature will be increasing suddenly. So here we have to identify one point, that is suddenly the body is becoming very cool and suddenly the body is becoming very hot. And hot means we say it has high temperature. The body temperature will be raising up to 106 degrees Fahrenheit. Please remember, this is in Fahrenheit. Okay, 106 degrees in Fahrenheit. Otherwise, if it is in Celsius, we can say that it is 1.111 degrees Celsius we say. Okay, it is in Celsius. So you have to remember the temperature now. In Fahrenheit, we say that the temperature will be raising to 106 Fahrenheit. If it is in Celsius, we say that it is 41.1111 degree Celsius we say. So here you have to make note of these 2 points which are very important. Okay, you have to note these 2 points, okay, which are very important. So high temperature will be there, and because of high temperature, that particular person will be showing a rapid breathing. They start breathing so fast, and due to which there will be increase in the pulse rate. There will be increase in the pulse rate. So this is what we see, and they get confused. Okay, they get confused with this. All this will be happening because the malarial parasite Plasmodium vivax attacks the RBC cells and starts releasing one chemical called as hemozoin. Okay, starts releasing a chemical called as hemozoin. Okay, hemozoin is a chemical that is released here. Okay, that is released by the malarial parasite, and due to this particular hemozoin, the person will be showing the increase in temperature, Now, the sweating stage. Now, if you are looking at this sweating stage, there will be profuse sweating. Okay, there will be profuse sweating, means there will be more sweating followed by lowering of the body temperature. That particular patient will be showing more sweating and suddenly there will be decrease or fall in the body temperature. Suddenly the body temperature will be falling. Okay, so this will be seen again in that particular patient. So we are seeing three stages. One is cold, chills and shivering. They start shivering and their body becomes very cold. And hot stage, suddenly the body temperature will be increasing. And they will be having rapid breathing, they will be showing rapid breathing and there will be increase in pulse rate, and suddenly we are seeing sweating stage. Their body suddenly starts sweating so much and followed by the lowering of the body temperature. Again the body temperature becomes very less, and these three stages cannot be controlled. The person feels very weak as these three stages are observed. And please remember, these three stages will be seen after every 48 hours. Please remember this point. After every 48 hours, that particular patient will be showing this. Okay, that particular patient will be showing these symptoms. Okay, these symptoms. Now, the next one is chronic malaria. You have to make note of this point called as chronic malaria. So, what is chronic? The word chronic means what? Persisting for a long time. Okay, persisting for long time, then we call it as what? Chronic malaria. So here the basic point that we have to remember is that when a person is suffering with malarial disease or malaria, a disease, you have to remember that the Plasmodium vivax, what is that microbe that is causing this? It is the Plasmodium vivax. So here please remember, it is not the mosquito which is causing the disease. Mosquito is only a carrier. It is carrying what? This particular microorganism in its body. So this Plasmodium vivax, when it enters inside into the body, at one particular stage, it is attacking what? It is attacking the RBC cells, red blood corpuscles in our body, which are very, very important in our body. Okay, so during chronic malarial conditions means when it is persisting for a long time, when malaria is persisting for a long period of time, that patient will be suffering with what? Anemia. What do you mean by anemia? Anemia is nothing but destruction of RBCs. Destruction of RBCs. So there will be destruction of RBCs, and due to which the person will be very weak. Anemic condition means less blood will be there in his body because most of these RBC cells are being destroyed by this particular microorganism, the protozoan called as Plasmodium vivax. Okay, Plasmodium vivax. And now at the same time, due to continuous destruction of these RBCs, the patient may suffer with what? Splenomegaly. Splenomegaly. So what do you mean by this word splenomegaly? Splenomegaly means it is enlargement of spleen. Okay, enlargement of spleen. Okay, enlargement of spleen is called as what? Splenomegaly. Okay, splenomegaly means enlargement of spleen. What is the relation here with the spleen again? Please remember, spleen is an organ that is present towards the left side of our abdomen, just left to the stomach, the spleen is present. The main function of the spleen is to filter the blood, remove damaged or not formed, clearly not formed RBC cells are being removed. So here you have to remember, spleen, the function of spleen is the main function is to filter the blood. And moreover, this spleen also plays an important role in protecting the body from microorganisms, bacteria and other microorganism pathogens, okay, that are entering into our body are also being destroyed by the spleen. So here spleen is playing a crucial role in immune system. So that's why when this organism enters inside of the body, there will be enlargement of the spleen. This is also one identification. So now, here another point that we have to make note is that in case of repeated infections, spleen shows abnormal immune response, and it enlarges. So when there is a repeated infection, the spleen is increasing in size, and that we call it as what? Tropical splenomegaly syndrome. Tropical splenomegaly syndrome we call it as. When this word will be used, when a person is suffering with repeated infections, the spleen shows abnormal immune response. Abnormal immune response of the spleen, okay, leads to what? Enlarging of the spleen, and we are calling that as what? Tropical splenomegaly syndrome. Tropical splenomegaly syndrome we are calling it as. And now here, relapse of malaria. When a particular patient starts using the medicines, okay, he may feel that he have came out of that disease. But here we have to remember that sometimes the patient may again, okay, repeated attacks of malarial parasite may be attacking the body, or otherwise in simple we can say that most of the times a person will come out of the disease, cured from the disease. But please remember, in some cases, in some people, macrometacriptocytes will be remaining in the liver. These are remaining in the liver. Please remember this. Macrometacriptocytes are remaining in the liver, and these macrometacriptocytes will be surviving for a long period of time in the liver. They are there in the liver. But if they are there in the liver, they have to cause the disease. But please remember, these macrometacriptocytes are in dormant stage. Dormant means what? Resting period. They do not show any disease causing symptoms, nor they do not multiply. So suddenly these start multiplying. But those macrometacriptocytes present in the liver in resting stage, called as dormant stage, are called as hypnozoites. We are calling them as what? Hypnozoites. So macrometacriptozoites are called as hypnozoites. When are they called as hypnozoites? They are called as hypnozoites when they are in dormant stage in the liver. When they are called as hypnozoites when they are in dormant. Dormant means what? Resting stage, present in the liver. So these hypnozoites, suddenly they will be reactivated. Okay, they are reactivated and they start again going for erythrocytic cycles. Erythrocytic cycles, which means they start, these hypnozoites, nothing but what? Macrometacriptozoites will attack the RBCs. They will again attack RBCs and they may cause again the malaria. So that's why there will be some people, they will be having cure from malaria, but after a certain period of time again they will be suffering with malaria. Why they will suffer second time with malaria? It's because of these hypnozoites which will be there present in the liver. In which stage? Dormant stage in the liver. And they will be activated again, they will be start attacking the RBCs and they cause malaria. So that's what we are seeing here. So erythrocytic cycles, when they attack RBCs, they will be causing again malaria. So this process we call it as what? Relapse of malaria. We are calling it as what? Relapse of malaria. When hypnozoites again reactivated, they enter into erythrocytic cycles, attacking the RBCs and cause the malaria, which we are calling it as relapse of malaria. So now we are going to discuss about control of malaria. So we will see now what are the measures that we can take to control malaria. So if you know, this particular disease, malaria, is most widely spread in India. This is a disease which is most widely spread in India, and this is the point we have to remember. It is most widely spread disease in India. And here, if you are seeing, once a particular person is suffering with malaria, they are treated with different types of drugs. All these are the drugs that are used in treating the person who is suffering with malaria. The first and the oldest drug is quinine. It is the oldest drug that is being used for treating malaria. Please remember, this is the oldest drug which is used to treat malaria, and this drug is obtained from a tree called as cinchona. Okay, it is obtained from a tree called as cinchona tree. Okay, which is obtained from a tree called as cinchona tree, from the let us say from the bark of the cinchona tree. Okay, from the bark of the cinchona tree, they obtained this particular drug called as quinine, which is used in treating malaria. which is used in treating malaria, and quinine is the oldest drug which is used in treating malaria. And this particular plant, okay, this particular plant called as cinchona tree is mostly seen in West Indies, okay, growing in West Indies, okay. It is also seen in India, and it is also seen in growing in Sri Lanka and Java, and also it is seen in other place called as Peru. In all these, okay, countries we can see this particular plant or tree that is growing from the bark of the cinchona tree. They obtain this quinine to use to treat malaria, and it is the oldest drug. Apart from this drug, there are also other drugs called as paludrine, primaquine, okay, chloroquine, camoquine, comoprima, okay, comoprima. And apart from these drugs, nowadays they are also using sulfur drugs. They are also using sulfur drugs called as sulfadoxine and dapsone, okay, sulfadoxine and dapsone. These are also used in treating malaria, okay, in treating malaria. And now, apart from treatment, how can we prevent this particular disease? How can we prevent from attack of this malarial disease? The first and foremost thing is that we know that this disease, okay, is carried by a vector. Okay, this disease is caused by same thing. We are calling it as what? Plasmodium vivax. Okay, it is a protozoan. We are calling it as, okay, Plasmodium vivax, a protozoan. And this is carried by what? It is carried by female Anopheles mosquito. So we have to restrict or control the multiplication of the mosquitoes. Okay, we have to restrict the multiplication of mosquito, because only through the female Anopheles mosquito there are chances that it enters into our body causing malaria. So if this female Anopheles mosquito is being controlled, then there is no way for this Plasmodium vivax to enter into our body. So our concept is now to what? To control this particular mosquitoes. So where there are stagnant water, there we see the mosquitoes developing. Their larvae and pupae will be there more in their larvae, okay, and the pupae, okay, will be there more in the stagnant water. There it is present more in the stagnant water. So we have to take measures, okay, we have to take measures to control the larvae and pupae of the female Anopheles mosquitoes, so that those mosquitoes will not carry this and attack the human beings. Now we are seeing how to control, okay, how to control or how to prevent the multiplication of the female Anopheles mosquito. In the places where this particular mosquito breeds, lays eggs and multiplies, there we introduce what? The common one, okay, are called as the ducks. So when we introduce these ducks, they start eating these mosquitoes. They will eat the mosquitoes. And another most important thing frequently asked is what? Gambusia. Okay, it is a fish. Please remember, this is a fish. Okay, it is a fish. Please remember the word Gambusia. Gambusia is a fish, and this fish will be feeding upon the larvae and pupae. Okay, larvae and pupae of the female Anopheles mosquito. So once we introduce this fish Gambusia into the water, where there is a more number of the female Anopheles mosquitoes breeding, then we can control the breeding of female Anopheles mosquito or mosquitoes. So remember this is very important. Okay, the fish called as Gambusia can be introduced into the water to control female Anopheles mosquito. And the other one is dragonflies. Okay, dragonflies. Okay, dragonflies will always hunt and destroy the or eat the female Anopheles mosquitoes. So these dragonflies also help in what? In preventing the multiplication of the female Anopheles mosquitoes. Indirectly, it is helping in controlling what? The Plasmodium vivax to enter into our body. That means malaria can be controlled. So another, this is insectivorous plant, Utricularia. Okay, Utricularia. It is what? It is an insectivorous plant. Okay, insectivorous plant. Please remember this. This is an insectivorous plant, and this is what? An insect. Okay, dragonfly is an insect. Dragonfly is an insect, and here this Utricularia is an insectivorous plant. So when this Utricularia will also feed on what? The larvae and pupae of this particular female Anopheles mosquitoes, and then it helps in controlling the breeding of female Anopheles mosquitoes. Apart from these, okay, these are very important. Please remember Utricularia and mostly this one Gambusia are very important words that you have to remember. And apart from that, spraying kerosene, okay, spraying kerosene and pyrethrum oil on the stagnant water, which is forming as one thin film on the water surface, can prevent the breeding of the mosquitoes, okay, which are nothing but larvae and pupae cannot develop and grow into adult mosquitoes when you are spraying stagnant water with kerosene and pyrethrum oil. Or otherwise, what we have to do is, the best and the simple thing at home, what we do is we use mosquito nets and we use mosquito repellents. Okay, use of mosquito nets and mosquito repellents can also protect us from the malarial disease. And previously they used to use what? DDT, spraying DDT. Okay, and also there is another chemical called as benzene hexachloride. Okay, benzene hexachloride. These two are also used in spraying, okay, so that these two will be destroying what? The mosquitoes from breeding, okay, these two. But of course we know that DDT is now banned, okay, but otherwise they used to use these also, okay, DDT and benzene hexachloride, okay. These are the points that we have to keep in mind when we talk about the control of malaria. So we studied in this video about the symptoms of malaria and control of malaria. Thank you so much.